I made one decision in my life based on money. I swore I would never do it again.
Everyone knows the story of Moneyball. It was about finding hidden value in static statistics using spreadsheets and human intuition. But that era is officially dead. We have now entered the age of agentic AI. These are systems that don't just report data to a human, they autonomously execute business decisions. According to PwC's 2026 Outlook, 81% of sports executives increased their AI adoption in just the last 12 months. Their goal isn't just winning games. It is about cutting operational costs and driving efficiency in a sports analytics market projected to hit $14 billion by 2030. This shift represents a fundamental transfer of power. We are moving from human intuition to algorithmic certainty. The tension here is palpable. This isn't just about better win rates, it is about business survival. Organizations that fail to integrate these generative strategies risk becoming distressed assets in a data-first economy. Today on Revenue Racers, we are investigating the three critical battlegrounds of this takeover: the algorithmic extraction of fan lifetime value, the displacement of traditional sports agents, and the total automation of the front office. Let's start with the revenue engine, specifically how teams are using algorithms to turn casual viewers into high-yield assets. The old model of sports business was broadcasting, sending one generic message to millions of people. The new model is hyper-personalization. A prime example of this shift is the Indiana Fever. By utilizing AI for dynamic marketing offers, they didn't just sell tickets, they tailored the experience to individual behaviors. The AI analyzed purchasing patterns and engagement times, resulting in a 21% boost in engagement. But the physical stadium has a hard capacity limit. You can only sell a seat once. The digital world has no such constraints. This is the concept of the virtual stadium. Teams are increasingly building VR and AR environments. These aren't just cool viewing platforms, they are biometric data mines. Every interaction in these virtual spaces provides data points on what you look at, how long you stay, and what triggers a purchase. Consider the massive partnership between Major League Baseball and Genies, solidified in February 2026. They created 1,200 player avatars. On the surface, it looks like a fun feature for younger fans. In reality, it is a mechanism to generate passive revenue via microtransactions without the players lifting a finger. It creates a scalable inventory of digital assets that work 24/7, selling digital merchandise and interactions while the actual athletes sleep. The Philadelphia 76ers took this granular approach a step further. They ran over 125 targeted AI campaigns in a single season. Instead of blasting a generic newsletter, the AI identified specific fan clusters and sent hyper-relevant offers based on predictive behavior. The result was a 15% lift in participation. For the modern sports executive, this changes the CEO scorecard. It is no longer just about attendance numbers. It is about the ratio between the cost of acquisition and lifetime value in an AI-driven ecosystem. Predictive modeling now replaces gut feeling. The algorithm identifies high-value fans before they even spend a dollar, calculating exactly how much revenue can be extracted over 10 years based on their digital footprint. It allows teams to spend their marketing budget with surgical precision. This creates a feedback loop where the fan experience is constantly optimized for maximum revenue extraction. However, while fans are being analyzed for how much they can spend, the athletes themselves are being analyzed for something much more volatile: risk. While the front office maximizes revenue from the fans, a quiet revolution is dismantling the traditional power structure of the locker room. For decades, the sports agent was the ultimate gatekeeper, the Jerry Maguire figure who leveraged relationships, hype, and media pressure to secure massive contracts. That era is ending. The new power broker is a server farm, and the most disruptive force in the player market is the algorithm known as expected contribution value. The most significant proof of concept for this shift is Kevin De Bruyne. When the Manchester City star sat down to negotiate his contract extension, a deal worth £83 million, he did not bring a super agent to the table. He brought a data report. De Bruyne hired Analytics FC to produce a comprehensive study of his performance. The AI didn't just look at his past assists, it benchmarked his expected contribution value against every other elite midfielder in Europe and projected his future impact on City's probability of winning the Champions League. By cutting out the middleman, De Bruyne saved the standard 3 to 4% agent fee. On a contract of that size, the AI approach didn't just secure his salary, it effectively earned him an additional £3 million in pure profit that would have otherwise gone to a commission. This changes the negotiation dynamic from a battle of rhetoric to a battle of verified metrics. Traditional negotiation relies on leverage and availability. AI negotiation relies on performance benchmarking and replacement value analysis. However, teams are using these exact same tools to devalue players. Consider the NFL's digital athlete platform, developed in partnership with AWS. This system is not merely tracking stats. It creates a virtual representation of every player. It processes 500 million data points every single week, ingesting information from RFID tags and shoulder pads, optical tracking cameras, and historical injury databases. The stated goal is injury prevention, spotting the fatigue patterns that precede a hamstring tear before the player even feels tight. But from a business perspective, this is asset management. This technology allows teams to calculate the depreciation of the athlete asset with terrifying accuracy. AI can now predict a decline in performance, speed, or reaction time long before it becomes visible to the naked eye. This creates a massive conflict of interest, which is why the National Basketball Players Association (NBPA) has fought so hard over their wearables policy. The central battleground is data ownership. If a player wears a biometric vest that reveals a 5% drop in explosive power during practice, who owns that insight? If the team owns the data, they have absolute leverage. They can justify offering a lower contract based on a predicted decline or an elevated injury risk score that the player cannot dispute. We are seeing platforms like Second Spectrum in the NBA quantify metrics that were previously invisible, such as hustle or defensive spacing efficiency. In the past, a defensive specialist could argue their value based on intangibles. Now the AI assigns a dollar value to those movements. The ethical dilemma for the next decade of sports business is clear. Should a franchise be allowed to lower a contract offer because an algorithm predicts an ACL tear in 24 months? The answer will likely be decided in court, but the technology to make that prediction is already here. If algorithms can manage the complexities of human performance and contract law, they can certainly manage the operational side of the business. This brings us to the concept of the agentic front office. To understand where the $14 billion market is going, you must distinguish between generative AI and agentic AI. Generative AI creates content or reports. Agentic AI executes tasks. It doesn't just tell you that ticket demand is high, it autonomously raises the prices, reallocates inventory, and buys ad space to capitalize on the trend. We saw a glimpse of this future at CES 2026 with NBC Universal. They began testing agentic AI to automate the buying of live sports advertising. In the old model, humans negotiated ad slots for linear TV and streaming. In the agentic model, the software handles planning, budgeting, and trafficking across fragmented platforms in real time. For a sports franchise, this level of automation translates to massive operational efficiency gains. The goal is to reduce headcount in routine administrative roles, specifically in ticket sales and inventory management, and replace them with automated systems that run 24/7. This approach optimizes the revenue waterfall. In a manual system, unsold seats or merchandise often go to waste because human teams cannot react fast enough to move the inventory. An agentic system constantly adjusts pricing and distribution channels to ensure that every asset, whether it's a luxury suite or a digital banner ad, is monetized at the highest possible clearing price. However, handing the keys of the business to autonomous agents introduces the black box liability. These systems are legally and financially risky. If an automated ticket pricing algorithm inadvertently discriminates against a specific demographic by charging them higher prices based on zip code data, the franchise is liable for that bias. The black box problem refers to the inability of human operators to explain exactly why the AI made a specific decision. In a high-stakes corporate environment, the algorithm did it is not a valid legal defense. Despite the risks, the capital is moving decisively toward automation. We are seeing a growing divide between AI-native franchises, often those backed by private equity groups like CVC Capital Partners, and legacy organizations relying on manual workflows. Private equity views sports teams not as trophy assets, but as content platforms with operational inefficiencies that can be solved with technology. They are betting heavily that the margin expansion provided by agentic AI will justify the valuations they are paying today. The power shift is undeniable. Data has replaced intuition as the currency of sports, and interpretation is the new primary management skill. For those looking to break into this industry or move up the ladder, the Revenue Racer playbook is simple. First, technical literacy is non-negotiable. You do not need to be a data scientist, but you must learn Python or Pandas, not to build the models, but to audit them. You need to be the executive who knows when the data is lying. Second, strategic positioning. Stop targeting general marketing roles. Target the performance analytics sector, which is growing at 31% annually. The money is flowing toward the people who can bridge the gap between the locker room and the balance sheet. Third, implementation. Don't wait for a league-wide mandate. Pilot low-risk tools like Genius IQ or fan personalization engines within your specific department to build a business case. Show the ROI on a small scale, and you will be given the budget for the large scale. The future of sports business belongs to those who control the algorithm, not those who just watch the game. If you want to understand the deeper financial mechanics of these shifts, make sure you are subscribed. We will see you in the next race.